I haven't ever really seen anybody that's super successful with, rebranding themselves or really creating creating a strategy for themselves without having some kind of facilitator present. So bringing somebody in that can facilitate the process for you, that can see you for what you are, and you just get to be who you are.
Hey guys, Reed Perez here, CEO and founder of Branding for the People. And I'm super excited to share with you one of our private clients, Brent Weaver of UGURUS, an online academy for digital marketers and web professionals to help them create meaningful and purposeful and profitable businesses. So we did some work together several years ago and have a long-standing relationship. So I'm excited to share his story with you, and hopefully you can get some insights on what might be possible for you with your brand. So Brent, welcome.
Good to be here, Ree. Excited to share our story with your audience.
What was the problem that you had prior to hiring our agency?
We had a lot of problems. I think like most businesses, there's always new challenges. I think specifically, if I look at the catalyst moment, we were working with an advertising agency and they were creating some creative for some Facebook ads and some display ads. But the overall creative, there was just something wrong with the overall voice. And then more importantly, the visual of how they were representing our brand just felt to me that it was really far off. And it felt like that every time we were having contractors or third parties or even our team to some level create assets around our brand because we really didn't have anything defined. And I think it was that moment where we were like, man, we are spending so much time reviewing and trying to get feedback on every single deliverable. And I think that was kind of where we looked at our audit that we had you done, where I was like, man, I think the issue is just that we have a branding problem.
And you were already doing really well as a business. So of all the options that you could have chosen, why did you choose to work with Branding for the People?
You have always stood out in terms of somebody that can bring the results and just bring that strategic thinking, but also the work that you guys do, I think is the best in the world, and that's why we made that choice. And it was not the inexpensive decision. It was definitely. I mean, you guys are a premium provider, and looking back on that, I'm really glad we made that investment because I think if we would have gone with somebody who just gave us an updated logo, I think it would have maybe solved the problem of the moment, but it wouldn't have actually created something that we could continue to leverage over the long run.
I'm glad to hear you say that it was well worth the investment. I want to switch gears and kind of talk about our process, because ostensibly every branding agency has a process. What about our process made it effective for you?
I think first of all, just getting really clear on the strategy and the vision before working on, I don't know if you call it the fun stuff, but just the creative aspect of it. I think seeing some of the creative come to life, I think is always kind of, it feels more fun. Feels
everyone
like,
loves the creative stuff.
Yeah, everyone loves, right? It's like what are they going to create, right? But I think that the strategic process was, probably the most value to go through that and really think about who we were and who our audience was and who we were to our audience and how we wanted that to actually shape. And there was a lot of things that we uncovered in that process that were very surprising. And also, going past that strategy part, I think getting into the creative with your team, I think that it was awesome to be able to work directly with people in your team and actually, get to be a part of that process and to create like really cool stuff. Like every concept that you guys came up for us was a concept that was like world class, and we probably would have been successful with it. But I think being able to work with you guys through that process was hugely important for us. There was one concept that was very similar to what we had. And I think the idea was there was an iteration of what we had, right? That was kind of one path that we could have gone down. Then there was the path that was a little bit more creative and risky, and it was kind of all in on a couple of elements that we had said that we were excited about. But then the other aspects of that brand really didn't live up to the other brand values that we had come up with during the strategic process. So it was kind of like all in on this one idea, but really it wasn't representative of the whole vision that we had created. And that was the one that I originally, like when I first saw it, I was like, oh, this is so cool. Like, I love this. Right. And we were going to make that decision. We were going to go with that look. And I think it was like, we had kind of come out of that.
You slept on it, right? I think you slept on it for like 24 hours.
Slept on it. And you had some kind of matrix that we went through and kind of assessed. And it was after I did that matrix and I looked at it and I said, well, hey, yeah, I like my personal taste is I like this one over here. But when I look at actually what we were trying to define as a business, this other brand fits a lot better. And it was really interesting to make that decision where it was like, yeah, my taste is over here, but the business needs this one. And it felt a little bit uncomfortable. And honestly, it took me probably like 3 months to really come around to where my personal taste, like if I look back at it now, I'm like, oh, like that's the one that we chose is totally the one that looks better and it feels better. And my taste has like arrived at that. I couldn't even imagine if we went with the other option at this point. Like looking back, I'm like, yeah, there's no way. Right. But of course that means, I think I've started to associate a lot of events and a lot of success with the mark that we chose, with the direction that we chose.
Awesome. Thank you. What kind of results or outcomes have you been able to see or enjoy as a result of the rebrand?
We've been able to create a group of programs really around one idea of supporting the digital agency, and that we believe that we are better together. And we brought that idea into our community, and our community just has like, they live better together every day. And it's been really cool to see some of those ideas actually go from, a slide in a Google sheet to, people running around a conference saying, oh, we're better together. This is so great. All this kind of stuff. And seeing that actually lived in our brand. So I think in terms of our impact and how our values and vision has changed the shape of our customers' future. That all came out of creating that vision. And we've also been able to create a really thriving ecosystem of programs within the U Academy umbrella, which is super cool. Literally, if I look back to 3 years ago, that didn't exist at all. We didn't have U Academy, and now that is a 7-figure business unit for us, and that's become really my main thing.
All right, so that's exciting to hear, Brent. I'm always excited to hear the results that people get after really taking the time and taking that leap of faith, making the investment. I know it was a big investment. And for you to get those kinds of results, it's always exciting to hear that. So I get a lot of times business owners, particularly in your case, where you actually teach other businesses a lot of the same principles. And a lot of times some entrepreneurs think that, oh, I should just do it myself. Or I teach this, I should just have my team do it internally. What advice would you give that business owner or entrepreneur who comes from the mindset of like, I should just do it myself, as opposed to hiring a third party?
There's countless quotes around this, whether it's, you can't read the label from inside the bottle. You can't understand a system if you're in the system. I think that regardless of how you view this, you can't be a facilitator and a participant at the same time. And I think that this is something that is an important concept when you're thinking about big strategic vision and also your brand. Is it's really hard sometimes to see what are your good qualities when you are inside the system. So if you are one of those people that feels like you have to do it on your own and you have to kind of, use your own process on yourself, then you're gonna have to figure out how to make that happen. You're gonna have to figure out how to step out of your system or step out of your business to be able to effectively do that. And that's something that I personally have really struggled with. And also as somebody who coaches business owners, I haven't ever really seen anybody that's super successful with, rebranding themselves or really creating a strategy for themselves without having some kind of facilitator present. So bringing somebody in that can facilitate the process for you, that can see you for what you are, and you just get to be who you are.
Well, there you have it. So if you're interested in checking out Brent's business, it's just UGURUS.com. If you're a digital marketer, a web professional, or someone who's looking to build your business and that's your niche, definitely go check out UGURUS. It's just UGURUS.com. Thanks a lot, Brent. And I look forward to seeing you soon.
Absolutely, man. Take care.